Man United are seriously considering buying Everton's centre-back JARRAD Brantwaite as talks have gone on between United and Everton in recent days over the player. The English 22-year-old is certainly one that Ineos is not giving up on despite trying but failing in the previous summer transfer window. Question is, does he really fit into what Ruben Amorim is trying to build? But also, where will the money come from? My name is Webb. Welcome to the United of Sport. Like, share, and subscribe. And of course, it's a transfer talk early in November. We're talking transfers in November. It's so unlikely of a team like Man United to be talking transfers because usually we do serious business in the summer. But guess what? If you recall, we did pay for Bruno Fernandes in January. So certainly it's not impossible that Man United can talk about transfers in November with the aim of making it happen in January. And trust you me, if we don't have the personnel to consistently play a back three like Ruben Amorim loves to play it, as we saw it, certainly it can make sense that we will push to buy this young man in January. Now, listen, the latest reports that are coming in claim that Man United has recently, in the past weeks, just weeks before, been holding talks again, resurrected talks with Everton over the possible signing of JARRAD Brantwaite. Now, first of all, this for me shows one thing, that perhaps we might have seen most of the signings that Ineos made or were trying to make in the summer as Erik Ten Hag signings, but maybe they had a plan. They were looking at the future because if Man United wanted JARRAD Brantwaite as a top priority in the last summer under Erik Ten Hag, and now Amorim has barely settled in, they are still insisting and resurrecting talks of a player who is overpriced, even when United know they don't have the money. Certainly it shows you that maybe they have always had their transfer plan. Dan Ashworth, Jason Wilcox, Omar Berada are the ones who thought technically and said we shall need these players to play in a setup we will want to play under a coach post Erik Ten Hag. For me, these interests sort of show me that there has been a continuous plan that they are sticking with, which for me is a good thing. Now, let me even not first go into the Brantwaite deal itself. I think for me, just this talk, because this is coming in from a credible source, talking about this interest, and we've known about it. We know how Ineos were desperate to sign Brantwaite because of his age, but also being an English footballer. He's English, and that for me is very important as well because we need English players in our starting team. But I think for me, it's a good sign of at least a proper plan that they are working from. I mean, they are not just doing things again like they were before, where a new coach comes in and they have to do things to suit them. No, there seems to be a continuous plan laid in place by this Ineos team. Now, let's get to talk proper the player. Brantwaite is a decent footballer. He's not world class. That's why he wasn't even in the Euros team. I think Mark Guehi is ahead of him, but he's a decent footballer, 20 years of age. The biggest advantage he's got, I think, is his size. I think being the giant of a player he is big. He's left-footed. That's a different dimension. I think he's a player who can fit into what Amorim plays in terms of a backline, a back three, because look at the center backs we have currently. And I mean, include Lisandro Martinez, who probably is our best so far, I think, in terms of being proven. Lisandro Martinez, look at Mathis Delete, look at Lenny Yoro, look at Coach Mazurao is not really a center back per se, but he can play there when called upon to. Look at all the center backs, Harry Maguire, and tell me one of them who will be your main guy. Like you're saying, if I have this one, I can build on. You see the way Liverpool has Virgil van Dijk to build on. To build on. Do we, as Man United or Arsenal has Saliba and Gabriel, do we have that big centre back? We say this is our first guy, and we stand firm when he's there, then build on to them? Certainly not. So Brantwaite makes sense because if you're going to play back three and you have a big left-footed centre back who is naturally technically gifted, can pass the ball long, can has a big body, can cover spaces. I think it's a good start for you to add on the other guys, of course, the Delete, to partner him with Delete and maybe a Lenny Yoro somewhere, or whoever you would want to put there to partner with him. But the question is he worth the over 70 million quid? For me, that's where the issue is, because we are talking a Man United that has clearly stated it, and indeed we know the cash is not there. they are not going to be giving Ruben Amorim a lot of money to spend because it's not even there. So United is going to find themselves in a situation where they've got to sell a player if they are going to buy. Sell to buy situation. Now, question is then, who are they selling to get the 75 million quid to sign JARRAD BRANTHWAITE? Most probably in January, because that's what they were probably trying to push for. I think it's a bit of I think being over ambitious, because first of all, if you look at the players we can sell, Anthony tops the list, but who can buy Anthony for anything more than 30 million quid, even 40? I think we would be lucky to get someone giving us 40. I think he needs to have perhaps a full season to prove himself. Then, when he's good and clubs show a bit of interest in him, then we can cash in on him. That could take time. I think about a player like Harry Maguire, because if Branthwaite comes in, perhaps Maguire would be one of those departing, because not because he's a bad player, because I think he's a natural leader. By the far more experienced players, for me, Maguire should be the last to touch, but just the issue is his fitness now is the question. And if we are going to directly replace him, because he's a defender, and Branthwaite is, who is going to buy him and for how much? So where are we going to raise the 75 million quid we need to give Everton to sign JARRAD BRANTHWAITE? Unless we structure a loan move with a bit of cash and pay it in bits over a period of about 3 or 4 years, a loan with an obligation to buy, but a cash and a loan deal. I mean, we've got to structure a deal in a way. And the thing, there are ways they can smartly work on it, because the reality is, like I've started, we have a clear need now to sign a player of his build, of his style, of his stature into this team, because relying on Lisandro Martinez, who is never consistently fit lately, but also his build, his size a bit short, I don't think he can be that authority that Amorim can rely on in his backline. I'm sure Amorim, after the first training, would look at his players and feel, okay, I need a serious centre back, because I don't have bodies. The only giant in that back line is a 36-year-old player who only came to catch his fitness at Man United, only to end up with a contract now 2 years staying. That is Johnny Evans. So you see how why a centre back is crucial. I feel now that if Man United signed Branthwaite, we would be clearly solving a problem that we have. Before, we had problems in other areas. We needed a striker. We needed, of course, there are people who feel we still need, because, of course, how they see Hoyland is not really showing up proper. Then Zach Z, who's missing a sitter for the Dutch national team. I saw people calling him out. But I think we try to solve the striking problem. Then you go into the middle with Manuel Ugarte. There's a breath of fresh air. And the fact that he's teaming up with a guy, the manager who he has worked under for the longest in his short career. He played over 80 games under Ruben Amorim. Add on Kobe Maino, Casemiro. I think we are fairly okay. Of course, we shall need another holding midfielder, but we know that we've got a rich academy. We've got Sekou Kone, who can play there as well. So I think there is no pressure when it comes to the midfield. But in the back line, most of our players, especially in the centre back, are not clear, with the exception of Mathis Delete. Again, and maybe Lenny Yoro, but it's not enough really. It's not enough. We need that one big player to be sure we are going to have a solid firm midfield. Because if you have your Branthwaite and Delete in the back line and Lenny Yoro, you've got your Ugarte and Kobe in the middle. You've got Hoyland up top. You've got Ahmad in the attack, because there are no more wingers lately. Perhaps I think you're okay. I think you're decently okay as Man United. You can, I think, go a season feeling safe. But as it is now, we've got a bit of gaps to fill in the back. But let me know what you think in terms of which player you think we should be quick to let go of if we are indeed going to bring in JARRAD BRANTHWAITE at Manchester United. But also, should we really, really pay 75 million quid, or if they can structure a deal in any way, is it something we can sell in Jan? Let me know your opinion about that. My name is Webb. Like, share, and subscribe, and I will be back later as we continue to look at all these transfer speculations concerning Man United and Ruben Amorim. Cheers.